One Flesh by Elizabeth Jennings. First stanza. Lying apart now, each in a separate bed. He with a book, keeping the light on late. She like a girl, dreaming of childhood. All men elsewhere, it is as if they wait. Some new event, the book he holds unread. Her eyes fixed on the shadows overhead. First stanza analysis. Lying apart now, comma, each in a separate bed, comma. The use of many commas would suggest a technique of caesura. Caesura could reflect their separation, the fact that they sleep in separate beds, or the separate of relationship. He with a book, keeping the light on late. She like a girl, dreaming of childhood. The word a book and dreaming would show that they're both looking for escapism. She like a girl. The simile suggests that she wants to return to a happier time in her life. Also, the word childhood would support this statement. All men elsewhere, it is as if they wait. It is as if they wait. This phrase would suggest that the wife could either be waiting for a new man or when the couple would separate. The enjambment is also used in this line, which makes the line more ambiguous. Some new event, the book he holds unread, her eyes fixed on the shadows overhead. The remaining couplet rhymes. Some new event, the book he holds unread, her eyes fixed on the shadows overhead. This last couplet, which is still in an iambic pentameter, is rhymed, which could show the reinforces of binding in marriage. The juxtaposition also shows the lack of meter in the previous lines. Her eyes fixed on the shadows overhead. The word fixed and shadows overhead could show that their relationship and the life they share has come to a standstill. And also the word shadows overhead could suggest a gloomy and somber tone, which could suggest even further that that in the future they would spend more years that will be unhappy. Second stanza.
Tossed up like flotsam from a former passion, how cool they lie. They hardly ever touch, or if they do, it is like a confession of having little feeling or too much. Chastity faces them, a destination for which their whole lives were a preparation. Analysis. The word tossed up in the first line suggests a lack of control, that they could not have helped the way they are now. The word flotsam is a wreckage, which shows vulnerability for which their relationship has broken down. A former passion is a sense that they once had a loving relationship. In the second line, how cool they lie is a short clause. Caesura again shows their separation and inevitability of their fate. In the last two lines, the inevitability suggested here is reflected in the rhyming couplet, which gives a sense of finality. Third stanza.
Strangely apart, yet strangely close together. Silence between them like a thread to hold, and not wind in, and time itself's a feather. Touching them gently, do they know they're old? These two, who are my father and my mother, whose fire from which I came has now grown cold. Third stanza, analysis. The word strangely used in the first line is used twice, which could suggest repetition, which could be a speaker's perception or their own. Like a thread, and time itself's a feather, in the next two lines could show the delicacy, the delicateness, and the vulnerability of the relationship, and not wind in. The gradual unnoticed effects of time are compared to a feather. These two who are my father and my mother, whose fire from which I came has now grown cold. My father and my mother, they didn't refer to them as my parents, suggested they are separated now. Whose fire from which I came has now grown cold. The word coldness would suggest the idea of coldness throughout the poem, thus the passion has died out. Ending with a rhetorical question could make the poet question herself whether her parents will get back together or not. There is no final rhyming couplet, which could show that the two parents are finally separated. The form and the structure of the poem. The form of the poem is that it consists of 6 lines in each stanza, which could show that the speaker could be trying to place some form of structure on her parents' marriage. However, the irregular rhyme scheme could show the broken relationship that she is trying to hide.